Welcome back, everybody, to Two Guys, Three Crowns, the podcast about what it's really like to live in Stockholm, Sweden. Join me, Sean, and my fellow American Rodney as we explore the good, the bad, and the just plain weird.
Since you've been gone, I'm out of my head, can't take it. Do. Could it be wrong? But since you've been gone, with sunglasses on, I can't read the lyrics. I am actually going to de-shade, and I will let you go ahead and
yes, since this is a podcast, everyone can clearly see that I'm wearing sunglasses right now, and it's because I'm in sunny South Florida.
Ooh.
And I'm situated at a desk that's pointed outwards so that the light shines on my face and I'm not backlit in meetings. But the downside is that all the sun is shining in my eyeballs. I can't see anymore.
Wait a minute, you're in Florida? wait a minute, you're in Miami?
Miami, the city where the heat is on.
Yeah.
We made it.
Yes, you did. And I'm pretty sure that this is the longest that we haven't talked. We've taken little breaks, we've taken vacation, we've taken little things, but I don't think that we have ever, at least up until now, been like off the air for like 4 weeks, 4 whole weeks.
Has it been 4 weeks? Woo.
Yeah. It's been.
My brain cannot store a calendar anymore, so
comprehend.
I have no idea.
And just to let people, to bring it into perspective, there's been a hurricane. There's been, and then there was a hurricane. Well, I just know that there's a lot of global stuff going on. But wasn't that the day you left? That was like when the hurricane made landfall.
The day we arrived is the day it made landfall. Yes, Tuesday. So
Okay.
we arrived. Thank goodness we're on the east coast of Florida. So on our side, it only felt like a tropical storm kind of thing. And I've landed I've had to go through a tropical storm in a plane before. So that's not totally unknown. Not the greatest thing ever, but not totally impossible. But yeah, then we were able to find a huge van that was able to take our stuff, and people were still running cabs. So we got pretty lucky. But the people on the West Coast, they got hammered. They're still digging out.
And the hurricane adventure actually began before that. If you calculate in, you guys, did you guys sleep in an empty apartment before you left?
So we slept, where did we sleep? I think the first couple nights. Oh, wait, before we left.
Right.
So, yes, we were in a basically empty apartment for a couple days. Then Sunday, we threw a little mini shindig that was basically come over, grab anything you want, and
anything
get it
that's
out.
left.
Yeah, anything that's left is getting thrown out. So,
right.
You guys need cleaning supplies, take them, like the coffee machine, all that kind of last minute stuff that had to go.
Right.
So then the night before the flight, we got all the bags, 6 check bags, massive 23 kilo check bags, a yo-yo stroller that folds up, the diaper bag, then 2 carry-ons. It was a lot. A lot. We went up to, the Radisson next to Arlanda, which was quite nice. And then we hung out up there because we had to get to the airport at I don't know, what did we wake up at 4:00 in the morning or something
ungodly
crazy like that.
Yeah.
And then of course this being Sweden, you kind of do everything yourself. There was no shuttle bus like you would have here, like the hotel has to take you to the airport and back with a guy that can help load your bags. No, this is more like a city bus that just pulls up and the driver sits there staring at you while you're trying to throw 6 check bags plus a 3-year-old into this bus, and everyone's standing on the bus looking at you like, would you hurry up? And I'm about ready to choke all of them for giving me that look.
Yeah. People filming TikTok little clips. They're like, hey, check out this guy with all his luggage.
I have a flight to get to. Really?
Right.
I don't, clearly.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we were able to get through security. We couldn't check in all the way because Hinata's green card, anytime we travel to the US, they won't give you the boarding passes and all that.
Okay.
When we do the advanced check-in, so you have to go to the desk and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, luckily some of our bags, I guess, were slightly over 23 kilos. So the guy just wrote 23 and let them pass.
Right.
So like, look at these people, six bags and a toddler.
Yeah.
Let them through.
Yeah.
And then, then it was off to the races.
Okay.
But I think that period right there, until Dylan slept midway across the Atlantic, he hadn't properly slept for 36 hours. He was too excited. So imagine that, if you will.
Yeah. And I can think it's a little bit like, well, if he's been awake for 36, then maybe he'll sleep for 30. But no.
No. He
Dylan,
did watch
don't
the
play
Paw
that.
Patrol movie with his special. He's got like big over-ear headphones for the planes and stuff. So we watched Paw Patrol with sound once, and then like 2 or 3 more times just without the headphones on. He just wanted to watch the cartoon without sound. I'm like, hey, that's fine with me.
Right.
And it was a lot, but he did pretty well on that Virgin flight.
Yeah.
But we were also like, what do they call it? Premium. It's like premium economy. So it's
Right.
kind of like a business class without the full lay flat seats. So it was pretty nice. Well worth the upgrade.
Okay. Nice. You and I had texted just a little bit, I believe, when you were in London.
Yes,
Or
probably.
Did you fly through Heathrow?
Yes, Heathrow.
Okay. And that was kind of where you weren't really sure if flights were going to be going to Miami or not,
Yeah,
right? Or was
we get into Heathrow, and you still have to go through, because thanks Brexit and Heathrow in general, you have to go through security all over again. Not your bags, but just you. So anyone who's ever had to go through passport control in Heathrow knows the room I'm talking about. It's this massive thing in what feels like a basement, and you end up zigzagging through, and it takes forever.
Right.
They had a whole British Airlines, Airways, and a whole bunch of other airlines had a desks set up before you even got into the snaking zigzag, because you needed at least 45 minutes minimum to make it through. And people were coming in late. They were missing connections. They're like, nope, just go over there. You're not going to make it. Rebook with the desk over there.
Yeah.
It was crazy. And then, of course, they're like, it's kind of like the U.S., but it's not the U.S. So we had to scan everything through the metal detector again. And it's like, wait, am I taking off my shoes? Am I leaving them on? Are the computers coming out? What about laptops? And like, I've got cables and cables and stuff like that. They're like, no, only your laptop needs to come out. You can leave your tablet inside. And then, of course, the next person about to put it into the machine, they're like, make sure you've taken out everything, or it's going to add an hour to your trip right now. I'm like, whatever. And they flagged every single bag for us. And every single one. I'm like, what do you want me to do here, people?
Right.
If it wasn't like a random USB cable, then it was like one piece of baby food that we forgot.
Wow.
So yeah, that was lovely. We just got to sit there with Dylan doing cartwheels in the middle of the security area.
Yeah. You know what you should have done was you should have left your shoes on and taken your pants off. That would
have got me out of that room a lot sooner. Probably
into a smaller room. Exactly. How long did you have the little bonus vacation stop at Heathrow? Was that?
It was a few hours. I mean, it was enough time to make it through everything, and then we still ate, like sit down, eat, all that kind of thing. So it must have been like 3 hours, and it was slammed. So many people. It was crazy.
But they weren't still having luggage. No.
No. That's inside in the big food court area, and where were we? Terminal 2 or something.
Did they check your bags all the way through?
Yes.
Did they go Stockholm? Okay.
Yes. Thank God.
Thank goodness for that. Thank goodness for that.
Yeah, that's normally what happens in Brazil. Every time you fly through Sao Paulo, no, get your bags, go out, and come back in.
Right.
Yeah. But then it was 9 hours. 9 or 9.5 hours to Miami straight. They flew straight across the Atlantic. They didn't even do the thing up by Greenland. They just went right across.
No. Yep.
And then, We had to go through customs in Miami.
Okay.
Passport control. It was like, I had to take all the passports, put mine on top, then Dylan's, then Hinata on the bottom with the green card inside. And like, without even asking, we just go into the Americans line.
Right.
And we get up there and we're like, I don't even know what time it is. It's the same day, supposedly, but who knows what time it is. And then there's a woman at the end, like for you to go into the final line to go through the gates of the passport control people.
Right.
She's like, oh, get in the line, da, da, da. And I'm kind of like spacing out, and our line is taking forever. And she goes, excuse me, unless you like standing in that line forever, just come over here to this one. I'm like, okay. So we go over there to the one to our left. Thank God we did, because the guy was super chill.
Right.
He's like scanning everyone. And then I pick up Dylan, take off his tie. He's like, oh, you don't need to do that, but you can anyway if you want to take his picture and that. And then he gets to Hinata, scans it, does the green card thing. And something comes up on the computer screen. I can tell. I can't really read what it is, but I can tell kind of from the side that something's some message, 4-line message has popped up. And I'm like, when he comes in, he's like, yeah, okay. What are you guys doing in the U.S. in Miami? I'm like, oh, we live here. So then he's like, oh, okay. Scanning, looking at it, and it probably says something about this subject is using a green card and she is not a permanent resident of the U.S. and we've just told him that we live here. So he's like, stamp. Here you go. Get out of here.
Whatever.
And as we're leaving that guy, I hear the officer from the line we were in before.
Right.
Thank God we switched. He literally asked someone, yeah, well, how long have you been a citizen of the United States?
Right.
Like, it's none of your business. What does that have to do with anything?
Right.
How long have you been a citizen of the U.S.? Get out of here.
Right. You get in line, idiot.
The important thing is I'm a citizen. I pass. Yeah. Get out of here.
Yes.
I was like, Jesus, that would have been the guy to screw everything up if we had stayed in that line. So, yeah. Then we got to the baggage area where we had to
wait for your 15 bags.
And it's like 2 carts. We needed 2 carts. And then we're like trying to push Dylan in the stroller with the carry-on bags, and it's like piled so high anyway that it's starting to tip over. So it's like moving the carts and like holding a carry-on, and you're like kicking stuff through. And I'm like, I swear to God, if someone in customs tries to stop this baggage, it's gonna go right into them.
Right. Gonna be watching CNN going, hey, isn't that Sean on TV?
Florida man arrested for ramming customs official with a baggage.
Exactly. Honey, come here. I think Sean's on TV. It's something about the airport.
Storm at Miami airport, not caused by the hurricane.
Yeah. So, but the trip went pretty good. I mean,
the trip, once we got, in between the security checkpoints, like, it was all right. Dylan wasn't quite a Wolverine, but leading up to it, that no sleep thing, that was brutal.
Well, I mean, considering that it's a global move. I mean, you're moving from Sweden back to Miami, right?
Continents.
Everything that we've talked about before about what it's like to travel during this day and age with security and passports and I was going to say diseases, but,
Yes. I mean, we had so much paperwork in our bags ready to pull out and throw at them. It was wild.
Yeah. But there was probably a time where maybe it would have taken twice as long, but you wouldn't have really gone through the stress. You would have, done whatever and gotten there. So it's nice to hear that it went
as smoothly as I think it could have gone. I mean, arriving... and you look outside and it's raining sideways. That was a little rough, but thank God we could stay at our friend's place who's next door. And so we had food because the stores are closed, right? For the storm and all that stuff. So we had water.
I was going to say liquor store was open, but the food stores were closed. Probably. Yeah. And then briefly on Hurricane Ian, was there ever a time... because you have like the hurricane paths that a lot of us were watching on TV, a lot of us that had friends traveling to like hurricane zones right then. I was like, this is going to be interesting. But was there ever a time, or not really, because it came up, the West Coast and Tampa?
Once they start talking about it going from a depression to the possibility of a hurricane, it's all about the cone. Where is the cone of uncertainty?
Right.
If you're in that cone, you got to assume that it's coming straight at your house. And if you're like just outside, you have to be ready that it could turn at the last second and come straight at your house.
Okay.
And the problem was too, it went from like a depression, depression to a tropical storm, and then it like ratcheted up real quick to like category 2 and then category 4 so fast. So it's like people who would normally be like, it's a category 2, it'll be rough, but we can wait it out. Now you got to go, and people had no time. So craziness. But yeah, there was a point, I think, a few days beforehand. So that hit Tuesday. So it was probably like the Saturday where Miami was still in the cone, but then it shifted west because we were like, we're going to land. I knew it. That's the thing for this trip. We're going straight into a hurricane, and God only knows what it's going to be. But then it moved at the last second.
That was. I'm going to say I was definitely on pins and needles. Going, well, this is gonna be pretty interesting.
I mean, once we took off, I don't know if we were still on the ground at Heathrow or we had taken off, but the pilot goes, we'll see what happens, but as of right now, all the airports over there are still open, so we're gonna try and land it. If not, we'll figure that out when we get to it.
you got a pilot saying, "Hey, we're going for it."
I'm like, man, this guy must have spent time in Florida.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Good thing you're in a tube in the air.
So it has been a couple weeks. That was landing, eating. Everything was shut down. You had a little trip, I know, in there, like not towards the end, but during our little absence. But what were the first couple days? Was there a ton of like phone calls and running around trying to get stuff hooked up? And
I mean, the first couple days was just trying to figure out which bag has this single piece of clothing in it. And then we had to Dylan was supposed to go to the doctor's office Wednesday, but they closed for tropical storm force winds. So then he had to go Thursday. So that was a whole event thing. He had to get 4 shots, 2 in each leg. So he was not pleased with that. And then the next couple days he was like feeling real sore in his legs, and he didn't want to walk around or anything. So felt real bad for him. And then we had to get everything ready for him to go to school on the Monday. So it was like jumping right into it.
Okay. Telephone stuff. Now I've been sending you stuff via Messenger. You're in the process. How is it like cutting the umbilical to Sweden? I mean,
so I found out the other day that it's a 3-month cancellation period.
Okay.
So they get you for 3 more months of paying. So I'm like, just put it all on the last invoice that you're going to send to me.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I own the phone, so that's not an issue. And then here the AT&T put a eSIM card on it, so I was up and running almost right away. So that was nice. Okay. But then, of course, I thought I was being so ecologically friendly that I signed up for paperless billing.
Yes.
And the problem with that is I have nothing right now to prove that I live at this address. So if I hadn't done paperless billing, I might have had a bill that has my name and my address on it. So I haven't been able to open a bank account. But yesterday, my new updated address, driver's license, just arrived. So
thank goodness.
Now I can do that this week, 2 weeks later.
Okay. I was going to say, because if there's documents and stuff like that, I'm sure you know a graphic designer somewhere that can help you.
Exactly. Yeah. It was a lot of fighting with the building too, because Renata's the only one on the mortgage, so they have to set me up as a resident, like someone who's technically living with the owner or renting from the owner or something. I don't know, weird. But then they're like, okay, we need all of your pay stubs and bank statements from the last few months. I'm like, okay, get ready. They're in Swedish.
Yeah.
You read Swedish?
Yeah.
So then it was like, but you've given us, we keep asking for bank statements, but you're giving it, these are just transactions. I'm like, hey, let me tell you, bank statements don't exist in Sweden, at least with SEB. They don't give them to you. You have to export them yourself. This is what I do for taxes every year.
It's going to get really interesting really quick, huh? You're like, I'm just waiting for somebody to tell you, hey, well, you could just write us a check.
Oh,
It'd be like, what?
no,
Write you
seriously.
what?
To get anything up and down the elevator, you have to, if it's big, like a couch delivery or something like that, or move-in items, you have to reserve it with the management office and leave them a physical, like $300 check as like your security deposit, and they won't cash it unless something breaks or something. But it's like, now I got to go get a checkbook. I can't even get a bank account. So we had to get our friend to write a check for us that then we could give to the,
Right.
Like, who uses checks anymore? Haven't you heard of mobile bank ID?
Oh, my goodness. Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
I'll just send it to you on Klarna or something.
Back to check.
Swish.
And you've been gone for, is it 5 years?
6.
How long has it been? 6 years. So you're going to be writing, you're not even going to be writing the wrong year on the checks. You're going to be like writing the wrong year minus 6 years.
When I finally got like approved as a resident, I had to sign this form, and I'm like, wait, don't run away yet. How do you write the date in this country? It's month, day, year, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, and people might be like, "Yeah, that's funny." It's not. I'm still writing. I'm still trying to figure out. And not only is there like a right way to, or a right and a wrong way to write the date, there's actually 2 options, like in Sweden, and that's I think what throws me off, because if you throw the year in there, then the month and the day are in a different. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I made the mistake of trying to look at grocery delivery here, just because everything's so busy, you don't have time, and you need to get like the big heavy items, right? So
Sure.
you need some help with that. And then I'm looking on the online stuff, and it's like 32 fluid ounces, 16 fluid ounces. I'm like, what does that mean?
Oh,
I have no idea.
right. I know what 40 ounces is, but that's,
Oh my God, exactly. But it's like,
conversions. Yes.
so Fahrenheit, I'm fine. That's always
Right.
been there. But yeah, like
Inches?
weights and
Inches.
an inch, I'm good with. But like, if someone tells me 4 inches, I
Right.
have no frame of reference for that right now.
Okay.
I know a foot is basically like that.
Right. It's something like, well,
You know, kind of like that.
it's like a good sized trout. Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm even having trouble understanding people speaking English to me over here. Let me tell you, it's being like a foreigner in your own land, which is very strange.
Yeah.
And the problem I'm having now is I know how everything works, unlike a foreign country. Like I've got a social security number, I have a driver's license.
Sure.
We'll talk about the car in a minute, I'm sure. But yeah, it's like everything still takes 3 months to set up your life again.
Right.
So it's like you just want to go do everything all at once. It's like I just want to hit all the spots right away, and
Yeah.
and then people, I don't know what happened to my English language ear, but it's not set for American or like Miami American.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you asking for? Leather. Oh, a ladder that you walk on. Okay,
Oh my
okay.
goodness. Right. Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You have to brush up on your English skills.
I mean, even I used to know where to find almost anything in the city, but now it's like Northwest 2nd Street. I'm like, where in the world is that? I know it's somewhere in the general vicinity that I am, but I don't know which direction to go to get there.
Yeah. Hey, where do you live? Like right over there? But could you guys help me to?
Yeah, it's in front of a park, but I can't remember the name of which park it is. It's just, it's over there.
You got to tell me. I need to hear something about food. I need to hear anything about food.
Oh.
Just give me a food tidbit. Just anything food related.
So the first, last night we got Pizza Hut.
Okay.
Pan
Like
pizza. Like we built our own pan pizza, and it came sliced. It came hot in the
Oh, my
box,
goodness.
hot.
Yes.
Oh, it's a thing of beauty. I think the first takeaway we did though was cheap Chinese food. It's like gotta go cheap American Chinese food. That's classic.
Did it come in boxes? I don't even know.
It came in the little white boxes with the little pagoda on the front. Yeah. Always.
Okay.
It's like you tell the Chamber of Commerce that you're opening a Chinese restaurant. And they just give you here's duck sauce and those boxes.
Yeah. It just doesn't feel right over here still. Like I get Chinese food to go and it comes in a styrofoam thing. I'm like, nah. It's not really doing it for me. Yeah.
And I mean, over there, it could be authentic Chinese food. Like, no. That's too fancy. Come on now. I want like the knockoff.
I want the
stuff.
American.
I want the Taco Bell equivalent of Chinese food.
Exactly. I want the American version of Chinese food.
Yeah. And then the other night, we met up with a bunch of friends at this Brazilian barbecue place, Brazilian steakhouse called Fogo de Chão. So the trick, though, is apparently you get in there during happy hour, and we just get like a couple. It's 10 people. We were all sitting at the bar, including kids, and then you just get your little bottle of wine to share across a couple people, and then you don't get the meat. That's you don't do that. You get the salad bar, which is super cheap. And it's got everything. I mean, you can just go back as much as you want. So yeah, that's the way to go. And apparently they our friends must live there in this restaurant, because next thing I know, the waitress or the server, cocktail server or something, I don't know. Yeah. She's got Dylan in her arms and she's like, yeah, you want to go see the chef? Let's go. And she takes him back into the kitchen.
Okay.
To have
excuse
a look.
Me, all right. Excuse me, ma'am. Okay. All right.
Don't touch anything, Dylan. There's sharp knives in there.
Right.
Man. Yeah. Good.
So wait, you pay for the salad bar, but you actually have access to more than the salad bar? No,
the salad bar has obviously there's salad stuff, but then there's salamis and cheeses and hearts of palm and all sorts of soups and all. It's massive. It's huge.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. So, and then from the bar, they'll keep sending out polenta chips or the cheese breads and all that stuff. So it's
nice.
Yeah. Super nice.
Nice.
But I will say, the prices here, in general, it's like Sweden level prices.
Is it?
Yeah. Except for there's certain things that go up and above and over.
Okay.
I looked at steak the other day in the grocery store. Every packet was $30 plus.
Okay.
For now you're getting 2 pounds of skirt steak or flat meat.
Yeah.
But $32 or something like that. I was like, whew.
Wow. Okay. Can you hand me that vegetarian book there? You get the
exactly.
Vegan cooking. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, but the fish, I'm getting what do they do? Flash frozen when they freeze it, they super fast freeze it on the boat.
Right.
But grouper, mahi, all sorts of stuff. Tuna. The tuna was $7. The mahi was $7. I was like, this, you're not finding this cheap in Sweden, that's for sure.
Yeah, but now we're talking. It's not cod or cod butt or cod back or cod fin.
Or thin cod, or if you're lucky, the thick cod, or
lox. Flat cod, you got fried cod. You got shrimp gumbo, you got shrimp there, you got shrimp. Yeah, that's the Swedish fish menu.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Has Dylan? Where do you want to go? We can go in two directions here. We can either go car, or we can go. I was going to ask you about Dylan's school timing.
Yeah, let's talk about Dylan's school timing because it will involve the car.
Okay.
So,
I'd like to take Dylan's school timing for 500, please.
Or no, that's the daily double, right?
Yes.
So Dylan gets dropped off at 8:45 and no earlier. They will not even open the doors.
Okay.
8:45, and then he's there. He gets picked up at 3 right now. So if we want him to go later, I mean, we want him to get more used to it as well, but you have to pay more money if you want them to stay longer. And apparently, we have to pick them up by 3 p.m. And every minute after like 5 minutes that you're late, they start charging you on your account per minute. I'm like, Jesus, man. And we've got to label everything down to a diaper that he takes in to sleep, to take a nap in if he wants to take a nap. Everything has to have their name on it. Yeah. And they take everything. Got to make food for him every day, snack, and then lunch, and then
you have to send that along.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, they will sell you a meal plan for a week, but that's like $50, which it's not bad. I mean, but after a while, it's going to start adding up, right?
Absolutely. And hey, you could send those Rice Krispie treats from home.
No, they sent back a note the other day, like after one of the first days, saying, "Please cut the tomatoes," because we were giving him cherry tomatoes. I'm like, man, he'll eat an olive right around the pit and spit the pit back out. You don't know what you're dealing with.
Right.
If I cut the tomatoes, he's not going to eat them. So
yeah,
we've been going through some culture clash there for sure.
Is that like a liability issue thing? Where a whole tomato?
Yeah, I'm sure. They're afraid some kid's going to choke on it. And
back in the States. Yep. You are back in the States.
Yep. We had to sign all sorts of paperwork. And
Sign here, sign here, sign here.
Yeah. In the event of any accident that's clearly our fault, you may not sue us or seek any kind of reciprocity.
Right. Yeah. Now, you're, is it a daycare? It is a daycare. I mean, Dylan is
3. It's a preschool. So, I mean, he's learning how to associate written words to words, and they put them up on the wall. And they're learning about, right now the theme is water. So they're learning about fish and recycling to keep the oceans clean and all that kind of stuff. So there's a big educational component to it. It's not just drop off your kid and we'll watch them play and be bored all day long. So there is a curriculum that they follow. And it goes from, I don't know, I think once they turn 2, you can take them in there. And then it goes up until they go over to kindergarten. So,
sweet.
So that's nice. And then, like, to get there and back, though, I mean, the morning, by the time I drop him off, the sweat is already forming. Right. If I go, like, walking, if I take, like, the free, it's called a Metro Mover. It's like an elevated train, but it's not a train. It's like, I don't know. It's a driverless bus sort of thing on a track.
It's kind of like Disneyland, but
exactly.
Okay.
Like the monorail, exactly like the monorail, but smaller.
Yes, it's Disneyland. Okay.
Yeah. So but to like come get down there and then come back. Oh, someone's playing with the drone outside. Must be a real estate agent. It says on GPS that it takes 30 minutes each way. I have never been able to make that work 30 minutes each way. It always takes longer. So it's like trying to figure out, when do I have to be back faster for meetings in the morning and stuff like that? Because if you want to get back faster, you need a car. And then you're in the air conditioning so you don't sweat like crazy, especially on the way back. But that is totally unpredictable. You could be back by 9:05. You could be back by 9:45, depending on the traffic. Who knows? Depends what the day is.
Hey, at least you don't have Gullmarsplan over there, right?
Yes, correct.
You're correct.
Correct.
Yes.
But it's like, I am not ready to drive in this city. They're crazy.
Yeah, I think this is what you need to do, Sean. You need to brush up on your English skills.
No, my Spanish skills.
Your Spanish.
Forget the English entirely.
Your English and Spanish skills, and get yourself a nice checkbook, something with pictures or images or selfies or something on there that that will get you
my little starter kit.
Start the U.S. starter kit.
At least I do have a car now. Somehow I managed to get the car back to Miami. So I bought it from my mom.
Okay.
So it was one of her, I guess, extra cars. She's got cars like laying around.
Hey.
So I flew up to her house right after we arrived, like the second weekend we were here.
Right.
And did the whole thing, wrote up a bill of sale, all that stuff, so they don't like charge you an exorbitant amount of sales taxes and all that kind of stuff. And then drove it back down. Now the flight up, that was a nice bright and early flight. I got up at 4 a.m. to head to the airport. to do a 1.5 hour flight to Charlotte, something like that, and then like a little puddle hopper to go from Charlotte to her closest airport, which is Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
Now, we taxied to leave for 20 minutes. From lifting the back wheels off to putting the back wheels back on the ground took 25 minutes.
Oh.
And taxiing to our final gate, arrival gate, took another 6 minutes. So the taxiing officially took longer than the flight.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
But the plane to leave Miami was super interesting. It was American, but it was an old TWA plane. It had the big TWA wing on the back, and it had like a plaque, like when you first got in. I was like, whoa, that's blast from the past.
TWA. Hey, there wasn't like dust and stuff on it.
No.
They were like,
No. And the inside was pretty new. It wasn't like an old.
It wasn't retro.
Like, yeah, no, it
It
wasn't.
didn't have a
40 years
retro,
old.
like a
No.
like a retro feel.
No. So I don't know what was going on with that, but I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, the stay with mom was super nice. Got to just hang out, take it easy, run the quads around the woods, and had some legit Philly cheesesteaks, even though we were in Virginia.
Oh.
Wow.
Hey, did Dylan and Hinata go with you?
No. So they stayed here in Miami because I had to drive back, and that's like 12 and a half hours. So I didn't want to have to deal with someone, some little 3-year-old for doing that. Sure. And good thing they didn't come, because the trip back was, how should I say this, eventful.
Okay,
So my mom's partner is a mechanic. He's been a bodywork guy for I don't know how many years. Still does it. So we had him check out everything. He's like, 5,000 miles, you'll need some struts, but it's fine for now. And we changed the oil, changed the fluids, all that stuff, so you should be good. Dog hair everywhere in the car, but I ended up detailing the interior the other day. So
I changed the brakes for you. Here's the extra parts.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So I'm riding down 95. Well, first I have to drive through South Carolina, North Carolina, then South Carolina. And that's all, once you get into South Carolina, it's like country back roads. So you can be going 55 miles an hour, but it's like one way each direction, but there was no traffic. So it was all right. It was nice scenery and all that stuff. Then I get on 95, and ever since I drove down from living in Philly to move to Florida the first time, I remember this stretch of 95, and the same potholes are still there. And like bad patchwork, like very uneven, like whoever is in charge of keep maintaining that portion of I-95 is just pocketing the money. They're not spending a dime on it. It's horrible.
Yeah.
So I make it down though, and then like I'm going, and I stop to fill up I make it into Georgia, and I'm like, okay, let me just top up the tank with some gas and make it past Jacksonville. And I've only got, 2.5 hours to Daytona, where I had rented like a, Courtyard Marriott for the night or something, just to stop. Because that would have been 8-9 hours, and then it's like another 4 or something like that to get home. So that was going to be perfect timing for me. When I'm getting back on the highway after filling up the gas in Georgia, after a while I start feeling this, and the car starts really pulling to one side, but it's not making noise like a flat tire.
Right.
And the steering wheel's going back and forth. And it's like shaking to the point that like all the mirrors are blurry because they're shaking so much, and I can see the seat next to me is doing like that kind of thing. And I'm like, something is not right. So I have to pull over. I call my mom. I'm like, what is going on with this car? I've never had something like this happen to me in a car. And then like her partner gets on the phone. He's like, well, check the lug nuts, make sure everything's tight. I'm like, it better be tight. I don't want a wheel flying off the car while I'm driving down 95. So I check everything. Everything seems to be fine. So it's like, well, maybe take it to a tire place, see if they can have a look or do an alignment, see if something went out of balance or something. So I went to one place. It was like an aftermarket wheels and tires. Their business model is you can rent them. So you can drive around with your wheels and tires, but you have to pay a monthly fee. I'm like, have you ever heard of doing this for windshields in Sweden? Wow. Just asking for a friend.
Yeah.
So they said, well, we don't really kind of do that kind of thing that you're looking for. So go down to the Firestone down here. It's just down the street, make a left. Okay. So I get into the Firestone. Like, yeah, I'm having this weird issue. I'm driving down to Florida from Virginia, and I just have this weird thing going on. And the guy's like, well, I'm not going to be able to do anything today. Like, we're completely full. All our bays are full. I'm like, oh, great. He's like, well, let me go out and take a look at it. We'll have you drive in circles real slow, and I'll take a look at the tires because I have an idea of what it is.
Right.
Like, okay. So he has me go out there. We're going around in tight little circles, and then he's like, oh, stop. Back up a little bit. Back up. Okay, stop. Park it. And he's like, come out and have a look at this. He's like, your tire is separating. The tread is separating from the rest of the tire.
That's not good, is it?
No, it's not good. It's like the next step is the tire explodes.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, what the hell do I do? He's like, yeah, I don't even have the tires for your car with me. They're in the warehouse and I won't be able to get over there till Monday.
Right.
And I'm like, oh my God, Monday does not work. He's like, hey, let me tell you something though. There's this place called Magus Tire in like his deepest Georgian accent. And I'm like, Mega's Tire. And I'm like, Megas. He's like, Mavis. I'm like, oh my God. Like, you might as well say it in Swedish to me. Jeez.
Yeah.
He's like, if you haul booty over there right now, they might be able to have it in stock for you. So,
and your tires don't fall off.
Make sure you don't drive over 50 miles an hour. And I'm like, so you want me to burn rubber to get over there before they close?
As fast as you can under 55.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I'm trying to get over there, trying to look at GPS to get around this little, who knows what town in Georgia on the coast.
Right.
While I'm driving a manual transmission, by the way. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And then I pull in. I'm like, you have to save me. I'm on the way from Virginia down to Florida. My tires separating. And the woman behind the counter, she's like, well, I've got them in stock, but our bay is full until tomorrow. So here's what I can do for you. If you come back at 9 a.m. on the dot, we'll get you in as soon as possible so you can get out here and keep driving down to Florida. I'm like, okay, fine. So I have to ditch the hotel in Daytona. And luckily there was a nice Holiday Inn that had like a couple rooms left that I could get for the night. But yeah, when I went down to the lobby later on, I heard the person at the front desk saying, oh, sorry, we're all fully booked. I'm like, God, good thing I came in here when I did.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was able to like relax, have a bite to eat, had some shrimp and grits.
Nice.
And then woke up the next day, got over there super early. There was a line, of course, to get in. I'm like, she didn't tell me about the line that forms at 8:30. But yeah, they were able to change out the tire. They did a single tire.
Right.
Okay, fine, whatever. I'll figure the rest out when I get to Miami. Not trying to spend $1 million here. So then I get back on 95. I'm driving down, and I make it to just above Orlando, but like on the 95 side, so closer to the coast. Orlando's kind of in the middle of Florida, east-west wise. So right just north of Florida, though, I start feeling this shaking again. And it's not the same as before. The car's not pulling to one direction. The steering wheel isn't going back and forth, but it's definitely shaking. Like the mirror's getting like fuzzy again. I can see the headrest a little bit. Not as bad, but I'm like, I swear to God, what is going on with this car? Now I don't trust any noise that it is making. I'm like, pull off. Open the phone, find a Firestone, right? Or some kind of Pep Boys. We're like near Orlando, a pretty big city, so there's got to be something I recognize. So I find a Firestone, I pull it over, and I'm like, here's what happened. My tire just separated up in Georgia. I'm trying to get down to Miami. Like, now it's shaking again. I don't know what it is. And the guy's like, well, it might take us a while to have a look at it, but I'll put it up on the rack. It'll cost $10. We'll look at everything. We'll look at your brakes, their fluids, all that stuff. We'll just have a look to see what's going on with it. So I do that, waiting around. And then, of course, sure enough, the guy comes back. Well, your back two tires are separating. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And he's like, you're going to need to replace your struts too. And I'm like, yeah, well, how much is the struts? He's like, those are $980, but I don't have them right now. You'll have to sit around till Monday. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Can I make it to Miami? Yes. Okay. Yeah. Just do the tires. And I'm like, wait, there is one more original Virginia tire on that car on the front passenger side. Change everything. Just change all four and be done with it, because guaranteed I'm going to get back on the road and the same thing is going to happen to that one.
Yep.
So we do all that. I finally get back on the road, drive down into Miami through the rain, and I enter Miami under the cover of darkness, which driving in Miami is stressful enough. Driving at night in a car that you're not familiar with, not sure how much you can trust it. And yeah, the road is slightly wet. Not the most ideal circumstances.
No. Hey, but you did have 4 brand new tires.
I have 4 brand new tires, and I got a cheesesteak out of
it. All right, everyone, back at it, and it feels so good from sunny South Florida. Sorry to all those fall entering Swedish listeners out there, but I gotta love where I'm at right now. Thanks so much for tuning in. As always, be sure to hit up our Instagram account. I got to get Rodney to post some of these food pictures I've got stored up, and then come back here next time for more 2 Guys, 3 Crowns.